Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another edition of Dr. Unicorn, where today we're going to talk about evidence. That's right, more evidence, more proof that we are, in fact, living on the wrong timeline. And this evidence doesn't come from me. I'm going to quote others who feel the same way, who sense the same thing, who can feel and know that something is not right about our current reality. And I'm going to start with the almost vice president. That's right, Senator Tim Kaine. A couple weeks ago on Hardball with Chris Matthews on MSNBC, Tim Kaine said that he sometimes feels as if he's living in an alternate reality since President Trump's election. To quote Tim Kaine, he said, "I wake up some mornings and it seems like the campaign was a dream. I wake up other mornings and I think I might be living through some alternate reality now." Thank you, Senator Kaine. Also on MSNBC a couple weeks ago on Morning Joe, Joe and Mika were riffing on a press conference that President Trump had a couple weeks ago that was not very good. And he, quote, said, "It was one of the most chaotic, rambling press conferences anyone has ever seen. He has absolutely nobody inside the White House that will walk up to him and tell him the truth. And so he lives in an alternate reality. He says things that are verifiably false." Thank you, Joe, for pointing out the alternate reality. Here's another article I found from December 9th of last year from MSNBC.com. The author was Steve Bannon. Article entitled "Trump, His Supporters, and the Persistence of the Reality Gap." Steve Bannon points out 5 different ways in which there's a reality gap between Trump's supporters and the real world. He says, number 1, unemployment. Under President Obama, job growth has been quite strong. However, 67% of Trump voters believe unemployment went up under Obama. The stock market. Since the president was elected, President Obama, the stock market has soared, nearly tripling since the height of the Great Recession. But they found that 39% of Trump voters believe that the stock market has gone down under President Obama. The popular vote. Hillary Clinton received roughly 2.7 million more votes than Donald Trump, but they found that 40% of Trump voters believe that he won the popular vote. Voter fraud. Even Trump's lawyers concede that there was no voter fraud in the presidential election, but they found that over 60% of Trump voters believe still to this day that millions of illegal ballots were cast for Clinton in 2016, which isn't even close to resembling reality. And they have yet to provide any evidence of that. And then, of course, the George Soros conspiracy theory. A whopping 73% of Trump voters believe that George Soros is paying anti-Trump protesters. I still haven't gotten my check, Mr. Soros. For my address, mailing address, you can email me at thedrunicornshow@gmail.com. That'd be awesome. We also had Wayne LaPierre last week at CPAC claim to know that that protesters are getting paid $1,500 a week. That would really help Dr. Unicorn's budget. So please forward all those checks to me. I'll direct message me. I'll get you my mailing address. Thank you very much, Steve Bannon, not Bannon, and the MSNBC article. And then here's a gem from January 19th, Julie Beck in The Atlantic, article entitled "Hard to Believe There's Just One Day Until Donald Trump is Sworn In." This reporter interviewed a guy who tweeted a guy named Matt Novak, who tweeted 564 days before that Donald Trump was going to win. Is he a prophet? A seer? Does he have a seer stone? Does he look into a crystal ball? Who is this guy? Was he joking? We've all seen joke tweets like that. But what I found particularly of interest is when she asked him, yeah, I've seen these tweets pop up on the old timeline from time to time, and it was kind of like the same thing for me. It was originally a joke about the absurdity of his candidacy, and then it sort of became a possibility, and it was, listen for this, almost like dispatches from an alternate timeline, right? But then it became our timeline. Ms. Beck, I'm still working on this to see and figure out exactly how we can communicate with the other timeline, and the other timeline can send dispatches to us, and vice versa. I'm making progress. I don't know yet, but I'll figure it out. But here's the kicker, ladies and gentlemen. More than any other piece of evidence that I've been able to find so far, this is the most damning yet.